we don't have to slap people over the head with the Bible in order to, show them that Jesus loves them.
Yep.
Be a good friend.
When I was younger and doing creative stuff, you telling my idea no to me was personal attack, and you don't get creativity.
Right.
When as I've gotten older, I've realized, no, my role as a creative is to serve the local church that I'm in. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the All In podcast, where every single episode we're on a mission to help you live all in with your life for whatever it is that God's called you to do. And so over the course of these episodes, we have friends come on that share what it is that God's called them to do and how they're trying to live all in. And so today is another one of those conversations. And we have, for me, a new friend, for Ross, an old friend.
Longtime friend.
Mr. Sean Asbury on the pod today. Sean, thanks for being with us, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, what you love. Let us into the life of Sean Asbury.
That's a scary place. No, I'm kidding. So my day job, I run we used to be a sports store. We're not necessarily a sporting goods store anymore, but I worked for Hibbett, so I sell tennis shoes.
Dude, I lived at Hibbett as a kid.
Yeah?
Yes.
So did I.
Any birthday money, I was like, Mom, take me to Hibbett.
Hey, let's go. Which one did you shop at?
Murfreesboro one.
Okay, yeah, I know that one. Pretty sure I just sent some shoes the other day. But, so that's how I know Ross. He was just a kid that came in all the time. And
I never met somebody that was like, you go into a shoe store, you think like you're going into Foot Locker, and it's like, what do you want? Like, what can I get you? Dude, I'd go in there, and he'd be like, oh, what's up, Ross? Like, he remember my name, like knew exactly the style that I would want to look at. He's like, here's what we got new, what you would like. It was just like that personal touch.
Wait, so that is the connection?
That's literally the connection.
So, dude,
the connection is that. Yeah.
Like you said, if you got birthday money, you're going straight to Hibbett.
Yeah.
So my thing with my grandma, Ma, she would take me shopping for my birthday, and we'd always go there. And then anytime if we were over in the vicinity of the mall, I had to go there because I was like, dude, obsessed with shoes, like early middle school, like 6th grade, 7th grade. And so, yeah, I would go in there, and it was like Sean was always working, dude.
Yes,
You've been there a minute.
When you're the boss, you live there,
Yeah.
whether you want to or not sometimes.
Yeah,
I've been with the company. I took like a little 3-year hiatus. That's part of the whole journey. But like 20 years.
Wow, man.
So I've been doing it a while at the location here in Bowling Green for 10 plus, so like 12 altogether, kind of thing. I really think that I never wanted to work there, which is funny to me. College did not go well for me. It takes some talent to flunk out and not do any drugs or alcohol. So I came home, worked for my parents for a little bit. When I had to tell them that I had flunked out, go get a certified letter from the post office. That's fun. And they're like, you got to get a job. And I'm like, okay. So I went and put an application in. Didn't really even want to work there because there's a bunch of people from the crosstown high school. And I was like, I don't want to work with them. Then they all quit, and I got a job. And then the rest is history. It definitely has helped shape me from having to be in the public, right? Like having to talk to people constantly. And believe it or not, I was not as talkative when I started. I tell people, like, whenever I hire somebody new, I'm like, all right, we're going to work on your people skills. Because if you can't sell stuff if you don't talk to people.
Yeah.
But I can look back now and see that, like, I know my purpose on earth is just to build relationships. And so this is kind of giving me the avenue to do that. That's why I've met people like Ross, which leads to meeting people like you. It meets... I literally, like, you could run the gamut of the people that I've met,
Yeah.
I've had former, people that got drafted in the NBA come in. I met Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, like...
In the Bowling Green Hibbett.
In the Bowling Green Hibbett. Yeah, I thought he was not who he was. I was like, man, this dude needs to take a bath. And my boss is like, he looks like Robert Plant. I'm like, I doubt that. And so he goes to go try on an Adidas tracksuit, which should have been the dead giveaway. Like, a British guy. And my boss is like, anybody ever tell you look up Robert Plant? He's like, yeah, I get that from time to time. So I'm like, all right,
what a
whatever.
play.
Like I mentally told myself, I was like, well, if this dude checks out and he uses a card, I'm making him give me his card to check the card, to make sure it's okay. And I did. It literally says Robert Plant,
That's crazy.
Bank at Trafalgar Square or something. I was like, okay. So then we just talked about Mammoth Cave because I wasn't going to be a weirdo and be like, oh my gosh, you're the reason that all this weird heavy music that I like exists. Like if it wasn't for you,
Wow,
paving the way. But yeah, it's like I've met tons and tons of people. So all that to say, that's kind of like my history, I guess, is like from a work standpoint. But yeah, it's building relationships.
Yeah.
That's what has got me to where I'm at.
Yeah.
I know people always talk about it. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And that is I think there's some credence to that. But then at the same time, it's just about treating people well.
Yeah. Life really does run on the tracks of relationships.
Yes, 100%.
Like, not just what I get to
Know-how,
do, but
yeah.
everybody. Everything is facilitated, whether it's through business or it's all about the relationships that you cultivate.
No, 100%. And I think it started, like, Ross is talking about coming into my store when I was, I guess it would have been like middle schoolish, like right at the beginning, 5th through 8th grade, right? My mom had battled cancer. And so we had to come to Bowling Green a lot from Glasgow. And we used to go to Sports Sensation. And there's this dude there named Mike. Well, Mike knew me and my brother, called us by name, always asked about, how like stuff with my mom was going, like all this stuff. I don't have a clue what his last name is. Couldn't have picked him out if you stuck him in front of me right now. But that dude will never understand how much of an impact just him being nice to some little weird, awkward kid. Like, he'll never know. And so it's funny to, like, think back on that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about, like, looking back, like, okay, well, because I know this, then I've been able to go here and been able to do this and been able to, all these little things. And, yeah, like, that made a huge impact on me. Just some dude being nice.
Yeah.
And remember my name.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's one of the reasons, like Ross said, like, I try to
Do that.
It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to like try to get the kid in trouble so their parents say their name. I've done that before.
That's great.
You got to bait them in a little bit.
You got to have a
I'm
trick.
revealing all of my secrets over here to cultivating and building relationships with Sean. Just talk the kid.
Get someone to say their
Get
name.
the kid in trouble. Or just I don't know. It's just like remembering things about somebody.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you go to this school. Oh, you like this player. Hey, we just got this new shoe in.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's about that part is about selling shoes, but it really, to me, it's so much more than that. Because
Yeah.
I've had some of the most meaningful and deep conversations with teenagers,
Wow.
just about life.
Yeah.
Because it was hard enough going through life because I'm old, be 43. So it's just like, yeah.
Golly, you look good for 43.
I got good. Hey, man, my dad got good genes.
You do, man.
And when you hang out and deal with nothing but like teenagers and kids all the time, you can't get old. You gotta stay cool, which I'm probably not. But it's, but yeah, that just, I don't know. I think that's important. People want to be known. They want to be seen. I know that's a huge. I want that for myself.
Yeah.
And so, but I think that's part of the building relationships. I think that's definitely a divine thing, assignment, I guess you would
Yeah.
say. And so, I don't take it lightly.
Yeah.
I've kids have made me cry at work. I had a kid that came and told me about getting his first job. Dude, it messed me up. I got to go to the back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, And I met a couple the other day, and I was like, man, these people are kind of wild. And the lady shared with me she'd been 4 days previous was her 11-year anniversary of sobriety.
Wow.
And I'm like, but I got to be like, hey, keep it up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And because I've walked through some with one of my friends through that, so I understand. So I God puts me in lots of crazy
Yeah.
places that I'm like, I do not deserve to be in this position. And half the time I don't remember anything that I've said because I don't think it's me.
Yep. Well, and that's what I want every single person that works a job to like hear.
Yeah.
Is that you don't have to be in ministry or on a platform or have a social following to make an impact for the kingdom of God. Like, you get to be in a store that sells shoes and athletic apparel. But if you switch the mentality and think about every single day, God is going to bring somebody in this store that I can impact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy. Like, it's really not. I've struggled with that and have struggled with that so hard. Because, I graduated with some people that are doing, like, crazy things. I'm like, I sell shoes. But I can literally remember sitting at a Mexican restaurant in Glasgow and having one of those people's parents be like, no, like, it's more than that. Like, you're making an impact.
Yeah.
Like, and so I would love to be like, yeah, I do great at that every day. No.
Yeah.
I'm like, I still deal with the public.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so it's like Jesus loves them too, Sean. I'm like, well, he does, but I don't right now in this moment, and so, yeah, what you see is what you get over here. Not a whole lot of guessing with me.
What did you want to do with your life?
Oh, man. As a kid, I wanted to be an Imagineer for, like, Disney. I thought that would have been kind of cool. I got this, like, roller coaster game. It was literally called Roller Coaster, or Coaster, on a old school desktop computer that most of the people nowadays don't know what that is.
Have you ever read Creativity Inc.?
I have not.
Have you read the book by Bob Iger on when he took over as Disney CEO?
I have not.
Oh, dude, you would love these books. If you wanted to be an Imagineer.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of the things on old Disney Plus saved to watch. I'm like, okay, I probably should watch this stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't ever slow myself down long enough, if I'm being honest with you. Probably shouldn't have drank this coffee. But yeah, so I wanted to do that just because I was like, dude, build roller coasters, that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So I looked up, what do you got to do that? And I'm like, you could be this. And then, I feel like I've always had some kind of creative something. My dad could always draw, which made me super envious as a little kid. I remember he helped me a lot with projects that I had for school. So I think people thought that I was the great artist. I can remember, I think it was second grade. Did a Tall Tales thing, and so he drew this Babe in the Blue Ox, Big Blue Ox, Babe the Big Blue Ox, and Paul Bunyan, and I colored it. So, I had something to do with it. I contributed. Luckily, the teacher, I went to church with her, so she probably knew that it was not me. The kids did not. I remember somebody be like, "Oh yeah," well, because we had to write a little book, and then somebody illustrated it, and I felt bad because I was like, yeah, I probably let that kid down. Yeah. So it worked out for him. I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer now, so it's okay.
He's doing fine.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, but it's so that creative thing has always kind of been there. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of funny because my other two little brothers kind of did a little more as far as in school with that part. One was, they both took art. They both were, AP art kids, whatever, which is kind of ironic because one of them was also a basketball player and a soccer guy. And then the other one, he's now a youth pastor.
Oh, wow.
And so it's, they were both super creative as well. I was in the band and on the academic team because I was smart, except for college. But no, I just wasn't prepared for life. At that juncture. But I can look back and I can see how God orchestrated a lot of stuff, and I'm big on what's the path? How did I get here? Because of this has affected this. And so I think that that's big. But yeah, the creative thing I think was stuck in there. I don't really feel like it kind of got awoken fully until I moved with Hibbett. I moved to Jackson, Tennessee, and ran a store there for a while. And the whole time I was there, my DM was like, hey, I had this other place I think you would absolutely crush at. And I was like, okay. I was like, where's it at? And he's like, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And I'm like,
oh, man.
I said, where's that at? I was like, what is that? Because I'd never been to Missouri in my life, I'm like, okay. So, because I like did team orders, I was like my like I guess claim to fame within the little mini Hibbett world. And he's like, man, they have a killer baseball. They're like one of the top baseball stores in the company. You'll whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I moved there. He's like, well, and I know you're. I grew up in the church. My granddad was like the head deacon at his church. My dad was a Sunday school teacher. Like if it was
basically a PK.
Yeah, it felt like it kind of. I mean, if it was open, I was there.
Yeah.
Which was great for me. Like that was my niche and my people. And so he's like, hey, there's a dude that is on the staff. He only works like once or twice a month. Like if they need visual stuff done, he'll come in and redo the walls and stuff. I'm like, okay. He's like, well, and he's also a youth pastor. And I'm like, okay. He's like, well, what church, whatever. So I go and I meet this dude named TJ, and he's the youth pastor at Bluff First Assembly of God.
Okay.
And so I'm like, Assembly of God. I'm like, oh, shit. So, because growing up, the Glasgow Assembly of God was the top of my street. All I knew was they were always there. There's a bunch of flags hanging around of every country that you could ever imagine in the sanctuary. And, like, it just seemed like it was kind of weird, if I'm being honest with you. And so, because I grew up at the big Baptist church, And so, like, this, I was like, okay, whatever. But there were super nice people there, because I would walk home from school, and I'd cut through the parking lot, and I'd see the pastor every once in a while. He'd always speak. He'd always ask how I was. I mean, but it was nothing like whatever, but he was still just kind, because I'm just a punk kid walking through their parking lot. And we used to ride our bikes around it and all kinds of stuff. But so I meet TJ. Shout out TJ Woodard, lead pastor now at Bluff First.
Come on now.
Crushing it. Like one of my closest friends. And he's the youth pastor. And so he's like, hey, why don't you come hang out with us? I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, I can go to youth. Like, that seems pretty safe, Like, I don't really know. I just know this, The irony being that our young adult pastor at the church I currently attend at Crossland that's where he went to church.
Oh, wow.
Wait.
Yeah, Tyler.
He went to
Glasgow First Assembly of God.
Okay, I got you.
The Assemblies of God. And I was like, oh, okay.
That is
crazy. So crazy. It gets even weirder, I think, even just sitting here with you guys, because, because of that, I got to go to Grow Conference. So I'm like, wow. Oh, I know what ARC is. I'm like, okay. Like, all these
Sean knows the ARC network.
Like, all these things, and I'm like, this is nuts. But it's that relationship part. I think I really do think, I don't want to sound conceited, but I feel like that's a gift that God has given me.
For sure,
is that I am a connector by just before we started doing this, you're telling me oh yeah, my barber. I'm like, oh, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I've known him since he was 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I do.
I swear I could name probably 80 people. I could name 100 people, and Sean would know 80 of them.
And it's divine.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me. I tell my little brother, both of them actually, because he says stuff. He's like, oh yeah, blah blah. You said that. I'm like, dude, I don't remember saying that. It's like, I just have a big mouth and like to talk. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to anybody.
Right.
Me and this cup of coffee can have a great conversation. Hopefully not. But so I end up in Missouri, and I go to youth, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Meet in a garage.
Wow.
Come
on
now.
the back of the campus.
What year is this?
This was 2009.
That is the stereotypical 2009 youth group in a garage.
Concrete floor. I'll walk in. There's stuff written all over the floor. And I'm like, what? I was like, this is so weird. I'm like, okay. Well, then, it's like, okay, it's cool. They've got some cool T-shirts up. And I was into, I was an emo kid. So I was in an emo band back in the day, a little screamy, Taking Back Sunday wannabe with a singer that could scream his head off. Didn't have the singing part down, but it was fun, so I was into bands like Under Oath and Amberlin and the whole Tooth and Nail Solid State world, and this guy was too. I was like, okay, I loved As Cities Burn, one of my all-time favorite bands. They were just super good dudes and were always so nice to me. And he's like, oh yeah, I love them. I'm like, okay, so this guy's I'm like, all right, my DM was right. I'm gonna get along with this guy. And they did. So I just remember the first worship service, worship starts. They're like, okay, everybody spread out, just get your own space. And I'm like,
You're used to sitting
dude,
sardines
I'm like, okay.
It's about to get weird.
Yeah, I'm like, where are the snakes coming out? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, I'm from Kentucky. We don't even do this stuff, Like, I haven't been to Eastern Kentucky yet, and so I probably have to edit that out. But so
we love you, Richmond.
That's right. Yes, yes, we do. You brought us L8, so
L8.
Winchester, shout out. But yeah, it was just so different, and. So I start hanging out with TJ and see that he is making all of his graphics in Keynote on a Mac. And I'm like, hey, good thing I randomly, when I was living back home, was like, I want a Mac. I don't know why I needed a Mac. I didn't need a Mac. I didn't need a MacBook. Don't know why, but I got one. And that's a whole different adventure of trying to pay for it, But because of having that, going there, this dude making stuff on Keynote, he's like, oh, you want to help out? Like, make some stuff? I'm like, sure.
Had you had any experience?
No. Heck no.
What'd you start out making?
Literally Keynote, making, like, sermon slides. They were so janky. And we did a series, it was like 17 weeks long.
Wow.
Based off of this book. And so we, like, we built a slot machine. Like at a
an install type?
Yeah,
thing?
like out of cardboard boxes.
cool.
Like he was doing stuff that made no sense because like we didn't have a budget. Like
just scrappy.
Like literally our budget was, I'm pretty sure he would agree to this, that this one lady's grandson went to church camp one year, like 10 years ago, and she would send like $100 every year marked for the youth group. And that's pretty much what the budget was.
Wow.
And so, we're talking shoestringing it. We're out here spray painting cardboard box, building, like we built this, just all this stuff. And I'm like, man, this is so cool. Like, this is a lot of fun. And so started helping make graphics and whatever and yada, yada, yada. And then an opportunity came to come back home. And so, because I'd always told my boss, I was like, I'll go wherever you want me to go as long as I get to come back home, because I wanted to work for this one guy. And so, I remember it was like in February, it was snowing. I'm like trying to drive up this hill, and he's calling me, and I'm like sliding backwards. I'm like, I'll call you back, And so, I moved back home. I moved to Somerset, start running a store there. But when I came back, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get an Adobe subscription. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to get it. And so it's like, started trying to figure out Illustrator, because I was like, that just seems like the cool one, you know?
Gosh, that does not seem
I was like,
the cool
anti-Photoshop,
one.
I'm not doing that.
I was the same way, Sean.
And so I'm like, all right. So then let's just start watching YouTube videos. I'm like watching a YouTube video while, listen to a Mark Driscoll sermon on my Apple iPod video. Probably shouldn't admit that either, but
there's two crazy plugs there. One, that you were editing to a Driscoll sermon. Two, you were watching it on an iPod video.
Oh yeah. I used to, one of my friends one year for Christmas, grew up with some incredible people around me. The majority of them were not believers. But I think because of that, it allowed me to understand so much more of culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up with a bunch of friends that were like atheist and agnostic, and I had church friends obviously too. But it was just cool, and just been a rough year. And we always did like one big Christmas present for like one person in the group, and then I got to be that. I was that person one year, and the video iPod is what they gave me, and because my friend knew, she knew like how much I love music and all that stuff, and so it was insane. I was just like, well, that's wild, you know. So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up there, but so just trying to figure stuff out. Eventually, I go just start making stuff. Awful. Oh my gosh. Like that hard drive, hopefully it just doesn't, I'm pretty sure it's toast anyway. It's buried somewhere in a closet, but no one needs to see any of that stuff. And I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. I look back at some of the stuff I made when I first got in Illustrator. I'm like, ew.
oh yeah, I'm like, ooh, I can do this. Nope, I can't.
Yeah.
And like now I can do it,
Yeah.
you know, and it's because I've had people like, well, how do you, like, you just got to make stuff, man. You know, like I've never taken a quote unquote, I mean, I guess I have technically taken a professional design, kind of. I did some stuff through Pro Church Media back in the day. Took some of their stuff. Learned from some of the like OG Christian creative folk.
There's enough on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's
So that's what I've done. Like I've learned everything on YouTube and a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Like really bad trial and error, heavy on the error. But yeah, and so now outside of working at Hibbett, you know, I freelance design and make stuff on the side, and it's really cool because I still get to be involved with a lot of stuff that Bluff First does, even though I've been gone.
Yeah.
And the crazy full story moment with them was in 2020, I quit my job that I'd had for 17 years and moved back to Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Really?
And then COVID happened.
Oh, man.
But I knew the moment that I left there the first time that I would go back. I didn't know when. I didn't know what it looks like, all that stuff. And there's just so many things that God was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm terrified. It's like, you'll be okay, you know?
Yeah.
And so...
I'll be in Poplar Bluff for the first time in my life this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
You're going to do a camp?
There's a conference there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I probably know some of the people.
I bet you
probably do. That's insane. But yeah, I moved in with TJ and his family. They're like, hey, we got a room. Just come stay with us. And I did, and it was life-changing, you know. But I ended up moving back home. My dad had quadruple bypass heart surgery. He's good now.
Word.
He's good. You know, they told me he has the heart of a 20-year-old. I was like, that's the worst thing you could tell my dad. But no. And so ended up, did some stuff, I'd worked at a marketing firm when I was in Poplar Bluff. I worked at AT&T during COVID, which was like great because they paid me to show up. And there's plenty of people that didn't want to go to work. I'm like, all right,
I'll go.
I'm living in a bedroom in my friend's house with his family. Like, I'm good. I'm going to go to work. It's not like I'm just like hanging out constantly. And so did that. And I remember my computer just ceased to work. And so, you know, shout out AT&T and stimulus checks to give me a new computer.
You got a new one.
I did. And so, but just being able to use that, you know, I've got to design tons of merch for Bluff First. That was the first time I'd ever seen church merch, you know. I'd only seen cheesy Christian t-shirts.
Yep.
And I was like, nah, man, we ain't doing all that.
Church merch
can
be legit.
Can be legit. Can be. If you let the artist cook. Just saying. But it's been cool because of all of that and like trying to figure out how to do things, I have been able to like meet random people online, you know, call my internet friends. And I mean, there's some of the most talented people out there, and they're in like this one specific space that the rest of the world has no idea about. And so, I mean, it's super cool. It's like finding that band that you love and then they blow up.
Nobody knew about them.
You know, it's just like, oh my gosh, this band's going to be huge, you know?
So for people that don't really know what freelance creative work is, give us a Reader's Digest version.
Oh, man.
Creative freelancing for dummies.
Do people know what Reader's Digest is?
Maybe not.
You and I do. You and I know.
What is that?
Yeah. Ross is like, what is that?
It's like, Cliff
what is reading?
You mean I can't just ask ChatGPT to read that to me? You know, that's what we do. So for me, I think it's freelance for me is probably a little bit different than everybody else. You know, I have my, we'll call it 9-to-5 job, which turns into being a lot more than 9-to-5. Ross knows, hence him saying he always saw me there. It's just a side hustle, which I hate the word hustle. Ick.
In general?
Yeah, in general, just like that whole, that what it brings and the culture that's been created behind all of that, like whatever. clearly there's been plenty of books written about it and plenty that are written against it, you know. But for me, it's just finding a way to use the talents that I've been given to make some extra cash, you know. But ultimately, making sure that the main thing is the main thing, and it's pointing people back to Jesus, you know. Because like if I'm designing merch for somebody, my goal is that for Safes for Youth Group is that kid to only want to wear that shirt. Like that should be their favorite shirt. That means it should be on good stuff. Like print on a good garment. It should look cool, because if it doesn't look cool, they're not going to wear it. And it should make people want to ask you something about it. You know, like, what is that?
Where'd you get that?
Yeah, where'd that come from? And so it's like we just did the Worship on the Hill here at WKU, right? And so on the front of the shirt it says WOTH. People are like, what's WOTH? It's like Worship on the Hill. Oh, I'm like, we did that purposefully so people would ask questions. Because guess what? It's on the back. But, you know, those little things, me and TJ did a shirt for Vision Sunday, Very Assemblies of God.
You're not wrong.
I know.
Everybody's stolen the idea, but
correct.
The genesis.
Oh, yeah, that's where it came from. Trust me, my Baptist heart is, you know. Yeah, anyways, that's a different podcast. But, we did a shirt where, you know, like normally you print stuff like on the left chest. We're like, no, we're doing it on the right. So we have a Best Is Yet to Come shirt, and it's on the right. And literally had my computer set up on the counter, and we're standing on the other side of the room, like staring at it like, should we do this? I'm like, yeah. Why would we not? Like, it's weird. It's different. Like, you know, so just, and nobody else has probably noticed that, but we do. We know. And people will never understand the amount of time we literally took just standing there being like, you know, it's, I don't know. It's just, those are the funny things.
I want to ask, why do you think it's important in the church specifically for there to be a creative presence that not only exists, but is excellent and innovative?
Goes back to TJ, you know. That's one of the things I learned from him the most. Like, whatever you're going to do it with excellence. You know, even if you have no budget. You know, we're building a cosmic slot machine because that was the prop that we needed. And it looked really cool. And there's a reason behind that, because we had to build it out of cardboard. But that's proof that you can take something that is lesser than, you know, and do it well. But also, you've been given gifts and talents, so why are you going to waste them? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I even saying, you know, like Christian artist or Christian designer or whatever, like, why can't it just be a designer that is like fueled by the Spirit? Right, you know, and I think we've seen that happening with so many of these different brands that have like hit home recently. You're like, oh, they're just making really cool stuff. It's about Jesus, you know. So if it makes somebody be like, oh man, what's that shirt? You know, well, it's no different than you asking me about the shirt that I have on when I walked in. I'm like, nah, it's just got this from my vintage guy. You know, and so another relationship, you know. But like that's the thing. Why would we do it halfway? You know what I mean? Like, it's not what we're called to be. You know, we're not called as, halfway do it. I'm pretty sure there's a whole section on lukewarm stuff. You know,
go hot.
Horrible paraphrase from. That's why I am not the pastor.
Something about lukewarm.
Something about lukewarm in there. You know, spit them out. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I think because that's a representative of who Jesus is, right? You know, so whatever I create, I've been given those abilities from him. So why would I not want to? And I struggle with that, right? I struggle with, why don't they like this? You know, well, I think it's sick. Well, not everybody is, you know, they've not done it before. Maybe me and somebody else have done it before, you know? And so to them, it's what they want is new to them. And just because I don't like it doesn't mean that they don't like it. And so, I don't know if that answers. I mean, I just think it's so important that the church also embraces creativity, right?
Why?
Because it's a gift, you know?
Why is it vital for creatives to be able to be given freedom to execute, and for what they execute on to live where the congregation can see their work?
Man, coming over with a zinger.
Because a lot of people would argue, like, I just want to walk in church and see stained glass windows and no graphics or no artistry.
Well, I mean, you can trace it all the way back to, I mean, you say stained glass. Well, that's art, right? Like, that's art. So literally screens are the new version of that in a way. Yeah. And so something that I design that's stuck up on a screen, that is a way, growing up, the church I grew up in the chapel, there's a stained glass window in there. And like, I remember that. It's just like of Jesus and all this, you know. And it's so cool. Like, I've always thought that was cool, even as like a little kid. I'm like, dude, that's so sick. Yep. So if I have the opportunity to design something that ends up on a screen that some kid was like, remembers. Oh man, that's sick. You know, when I first moved back home, somehow convinced Tyler to let me do the graphics for this series that was called Supreme. So,
I remember that series, dude.
So I went straight to Supreme, the brand. It was like,
send me the artwork for that, and I'll put it in the video.
Will do. And so I literally took the way the Shepherd Fairy did the Andre the Giant face for Obey, and did the same thing with Jesus. And that was our graphic, you know.
Dude, that was like, everyone was like, "What is going on right now?"
Was it elite?
It was. Yes.
I'm very proud of it.
Bro, the screens in that room were like, you walked in and you were like, this is next level.
Wow.
It's like different, next level. Like, I've never seen anything done like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things I've got to do. But it was the same thing where, like, Tyler was like, hey, we talked about it. And I was like, hey, I have an idea. He's like, okay, just like go do whatever. And just let me cook.
But that proves what you were just saying. How many years ago was that?
3.
Yeah, that's 3 years ago, and I remember that series and what it meant because of the artwork that was on the screen. Okay, so let me pivot. What would you say to a pastor that might not have the team to design, or maybe to design at a high level? Why should they invest in a freelancer that can do that for them?
It's another way to share the gospel. Like, it just opens up. I think it was Andy Stanley that said memorable is portable on a podcast I listened to a bajillion years ago. So if you remember that, like, you're taking it with you. Like, you remember that graphic, which makes you remember that series, which makes you remember what we talked about, the supremacy of Christ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
it makes it portable. That's
right.
That's great.
And like, whatever we as a creative can do to help somebody take something with them, to help remind them of who Jesus is and what he's done. I mean, if I'm a pastor, like, that's my job.
Yeah.
You know, it's more than just a sermon,
Yeah.
right? It's more than just preaching. You know, that's why I think it is important that, you know, the content in whatever form lives online, whatever ecosphere. Yeah, I think that's the right word. I don't know. But like where it lives, right?
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way. Like, one of my favorite followers, the people that I follow, is Ian Simpkins at The Bridge. And like, the dude literally just posts a black screen with white text.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's there.
Yep.
Right? You know, and I literally listen to every sermon that they have. It's not my home church.
Yeah.
But like, every Monday morning at work, boom,
That's
Bridge
what's
is the first podcast I listen to when I'm trying to do all my Monday morning stuff. And if you saw my desk and the amount of Post-it notes I have, like, because I write stuff down and they're everywhere. Like, so many of them are from him. But it's because it's able to live somewhere. So that's why I think podcasts are important. That's why I think that church merch, whether you know, I didn't grow up, well, neither did I.
Yeah.
Glasgow Baptist didn't have no church merch.
Yeah.
You know, we had a laser tag shirt that they made us put a scripture on, and it literally had some like guns on it, which is pretty funny. And it just said GBCRG because we were the rock group. So it just said GBCRG laser tag.
Yeah.
And that's what we wore to winter conference when we went in Gatlinburg, because we were that youth group, you know. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm the way that I am. And I was an adult then, helping out. And so I'm like, I just get sucked in. But it's so important because we are so visual as people, right? I even tell my people this at work when it comes to like my shoe wall. Like the shoe wall tells a story, right? If it looks good, then people are going to gravitate towards it. Nobody eats something
that looks terrible.
Yeah. It could be, you know, the best made by a 12-star Michelin chef, which doesn't exist. But like, if it looks terrible, I'm not touching it. Yeah. It's not happening. So it's the same thing. If we can capture their attention in whatever medium or way as a creative, you know, like I said, from podcasts to graphics to merch to Instagram carousel, like whatever it is, then that's the that's the end game.
Well, we put so much emphasis on worship music because melody message lives in melody, and you can carry the gospel out with the melody. It's the same thing with graphics, with letting messages live in other formats other than just a pastor talking.
Yep. Well, I mean, go and look at, like, you know, Elevation just released a record or whatever, and I nerd out over when they show all the behind the scenes creative stuff. Like, 3D printed the ring that's on the cover and then like painted. I'm like, they painted it gold.
Didn't Colin's cousin do that?
Yeah.
The album artwork is
fire,
legit.
You know,
so that ring, I saw that, but that ring was not real. I mean, it was real,
pretty
but
positive it wasn't.
3D
I mean,
printed.
I could be wrong, so hopefully they don't come after me. But either way, they made it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so sick.
And they posted it.
Yeah, and they posted it. Like,
That's
hey,
cool.
here's the behind the scenes. Like, this is what we did, you know. But I think that's the cool part too, because of the community. I'm on a Discord server, which I have no idea what I'm doing, honestly. I'm like, what is this? I had to ask my little brother, I'm like, what is this? Is this okay? And so, but I was doing a little passion project, and I wanted a design. This is what happens: you get stuck in the snow for 2 days. You design your own emo album and use ChatGPT to write some lyrics. Deep dive. And like designed a T-shirt, and I was like, I need a CD mock-up. So I go post in my little Symbols Discord chat, and they're like, hey, check this stuff out. I'm like, all right, this is cool. You know,
wow.
Dude named Carl. I've messaged him so many times on Instagram asking him, how did you do that? Bro just sent me his settings that he used for like this cool crunchy glow.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's crazy. And then, you know, I met a dude named Austin Pluscott, who's the creative director at Canvas Church in Alachua, Florida.
Wow.
And you're like, what is that? Because I was like, what is that? But it's on the way to my brother's house in Florida. He's like, bro, just stop by. So I'm like, okay. Dude, I never met this dude in my life.
Yeah.
Stopped by the coffee shop that's attached to their church, hung out. Like, it's so funny because some of these church creatives love like crazy hardcore music like me. I'm like, it's just like, it's the rebellious youth.
They all had an emo season.
Oh, 100%. You know, like, oh yeah, I was in a band. But, you know, that was cool. I got to go meet this guy, and he's helped me out tons with stuff. You know, I messaged him one day and was like, hey, would you mind looking at our young adult social media and kind of like tell me what you think? He literally took an hour of his time when he was driving to talk to me and my guy Colin and talk about our social stuff.
Oh, man.
Like, he didn't charge me for that. Like, he didn't have to do that. Like, he didn't have to do any of that.
Just showed up.
Just showed up and did it, you know? And, like, that's just, I don't know. I think that's the coolest part of the church creative world.
Yeah.
Is, like, it is so connected.
Yeah. It really is smaller than sometimes we think it is.
It
or
is.
Act like it is.
Yes. It's tight, but like spread out at the same time. Makes no sense.
Wow.
And so but no, I that is so. I think it's important that pastors encourage and cultivate that, because that's part of your future leaders of the church, right? Yeah. And so that creative side allows you to reach people that maybe the Sunday morning message isn't going to reach.
Yep.
You know, if I share something on my Instagram story that somebody designed and posted, that's going to touch some people probably never coming in the doors at the church that I'm at, you know. Who's to say some of those people, like, what if that stuff had existed when I was hanging out with all the friends that I hung out with, you know? Because, like, they treated me no differently. They knew that we had our belief system was completely different. They never treated me any differently, you know? Like, I always told somebody, like, one of the guys that I was super tight with at that time, I was like, man, I'd let him make any decision for me. Like, because I know that he would make the right decision.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't love Jesus. Okay, so, like, he loves me. So that gives me the in. Because what happens when his life falls apart? Who's he going to call? You know, and I can remember standing outside of a Taco Bell, my friend crying, me giving him a hug.
Yep.
But he called me. Like, be a good friend.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, we don't have to slap people over the head with the Bible in order to, you know, show them that Jesus loves them.
Yep.
Be a good friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Best sermon. I used to have this when I had an office. Now that we're a portable church, that doesn't exist. But I used to
your
have.
living room.
Say what now?
Your living room.
Yep, my living room is the office. But I used to have a sign in there that said, "The greatest sermon you'll ever preach is the one that you live." Just a reminder of, hey, if what I'm saying doesn't match up with how I'm living, I may as well just stop talking.
Yeah.
Because people are going to listen to what I do more than what I say.
100%.
Yeah.
So.
And I just, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Lost for words. Never happens.
You and I, we had coffee the other day, and we both are in a similar spot. Brennan asked, what did you want to do with your life? And you didn't want to go work at Hibbett, and you see that as an opportunity, but there's still, like, the passion to do all the time to be creating. And I know what that feels like. I know that it's like you got all these ideas here.
Dude, my brain runs at like 900 miles an hour at all times.
But you just, like,
and I'm over here drinking coffee.
but, like, you have all that in there. You have so much time that you can get it out, and then the rest of your time is occupied by the thing that's making you money so that you can live.
Yes.
But you don't always feel fulfilled in that.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's, because we talked about fulfillment and feeling burnout and all this kind of stuff, but yes, would I love to do design and only do design and whatever that, like, 100%, you know? Do I like having to go clock in every day? No, I don't. Do I love the people that I get to meet and, like, have conversations with and hopefully have an impact on? 1,001%. So it's the weird land of, like, okay, so I'm old and need health care and benefits, so I need to work, and I also need to pay my rent. And I want to live like this, so this is what I need to do. But I love doing this and get so much fulfillment out of this. So it's how do I get to do one and make sure that I'm not missing out over here, like I said, with, like, these relationships with, like, people like you.
Yeah.
You know, how do I make sure that I still am building those relationships, stewarding the spot that he's got me in well, but at the same time cultivating what's just, like, trying to hop out of my chest on the other side. And so it's like, it's hard, man. I think it's hard for me to just want to go do. You know, I'm like, oh man, I work 9 to 5. The last thing I want to do is go sit at my computer. You know what I mean? And me and my therapist talked about this a lot. Shout out to therapy.
Amen.
Go. Oh, I don't. Yeah, you do. Just go. Best decision I've ever made in my life. I should have listened to my little brothers a long time ago, but here we are. I'm there now. Should have listened to them, and then one of my friends kind of kicked me in the butt, and here we are. But we talked about that because I was just like, hey, man, I'm struggling. You know, I feel like I have, you know, dropped the ball on something. He's like, all right, stop there. We're not talking like that. I'm like, okay, you know, like we're not going to talk. We're not going to use those words. Just, you know, I got overwhelmed, you know, because I put too much on my plate. And so it's how do we find the balance of having a plate for this and a plate for that and not trying to juggle all of them at the same time. And it's so tough because I want to do everything like perfect, right? And so I have set this standard in my head a lot of times that's unachievable, you know? And so that's where the burnout comes from, I think, is we've given ourselves all these expectations that other people don't have of us, right? You know, that whole situation, I'm like, oh, I dropped the ball. Call the person like, hey, I just want to know that you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I wasn't, but I am now. Or, well, I'm getting better, you know? Like, and so like, that's the thing. So it's, how do we get there? I don't know. You know, I know what I have living inside of me. I know all these ideas and things that I want to do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do I get this out? Like, I want to make cool stuff that points to Jesus without it having to be like, Jesus, you know, like I'm just big on that, you know? And so, and I think that we're seeing that trend kind of go there, especially in like some of the fashion stuff that's out there.
For sure.
You see people doing stuff that is just cool stuff.
Shout a couple brands out.
Oh man. That's tough. We talked about one of the OGs was Forgiven. Like I bought tons of their stuff.
Same.
They've kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, In Him has some really cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's
I wore 2 of their hoodies in the same day yesterday.
That's hilarious. I have so many things. I literally have an entire Instagram little like save bookmark. I don't know what you call it, folder, I guess, on there. I don't know what they're called. That I have clothing saved in. You know, I think Selah's doing. They're putting some crazy stuff out.
Their stuff is sick.
I'm trying to think. Man, who did I just get? So I have this like cool In Him sweatshirt that I love. It's like clouds and says Spirit of God. I just think that's cool.
Oh, I think is it? What color is it?
It's like clouds.
It's like blue.
Yeah,
and then red.
Blue and orange. The Texas orange. It's sick. Great use of contrast. Designer jokes. But don't even get me started on fonts.
Oh, bro, what's overused?
Oh man,
are you a Helvetica hater?
No, I love that stuff. I'm like, I don't care. Like the older I used to be like, oh, don't stretch anything. No. You know, literally the last stuff I've done just stretched the heck out of it. You know,
we did an invite card with some really stretched.
The Worship letters on the Hill stuff.
All
I'm
stretched.
Like, saw some people do. I'm like, this is cool. Hey, did you just stretch that? Yeah. I'm like, all right, stretch it out. But just back to horrible at like staying focused. My therapist,
we did kind of go from spot to spot right there.
My therapist says he thinks I have a form of ADD. The inattentive, I think is what he called it, which leads to procrastination, which is one of the biggest problems, you know. And I think that creatives struggle with that because we have so many ideas. We don't know where to start. And for me, like starting is scary because that means there's an end. And like I hate the end. That's where the dopamine comes from, is the end. And then you got to like recover quickly. And so
starting's fun.
Yeah, like sitting down and putting together mood boards and like finding inspiration, but then we have to be careful because then we start comparing ourselves to people and we're like, oh, well, I'm not as good as that person. Like, well, no, you're not that person. You're different. So go be who you are. And quit trying to be this person. You know,
it's a bar.
And we, me and TJ always joked about stuff. He would always say, less elevation, more Church of the Highlands, because when we're like, look at our congregation that we had, right? And like, I wanted to do just like crazy wild stuff. I'm like, let's go. But man, our 45-year-old dad or whoever, he's not wearing that T-shirt. So like, we have to design for this one person, because there was like one guy that we always talked about, like, hey, if he would wear it, then we're good.
That is a great point, because I think that's something that church creatives get wrong a lot, is they get frustrated because they want their pastor or their leadership to just let them be so creative. And if it's not executing the mission of your church,
correct,
then it doesn't work.
If you're a young church, guess what? You can get by with a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
If you have a middle age kind of whatever crowd, then you probably need to.
You got to think about
reel it in a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, if you are more older people, then you probably aren't gonna, do a crazy wolf shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's okay.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because how are we talking to our people? It has nothing to do with, oh man, well, this church has done this. Who cares?
It's the same thing. The Supreme series that was a call thing, right?
It was a call thing.
So that was a college ministry thing. It was definitely not a Sunday morning.
Yeah, definitely would not go on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Those people would be like, what in the world? Why does this look like there's glue posters up on the screen with, I think that's Jesus. Like they wouldn't get it, but other people got it.
Yeah.
Designing for the context.
Yes.
Being creative
100%.
within the confines of the context.
That was something when I was younger and doing creative stuff I could not understand, because you telling my idea no to
Was a
me
knock on you.
to me was
Personal attack.
and you don't get creativity.
Right.
When as I've gotten older, I've realized no, my role as a creative is to serve the local church that I'm in. So to your point, if we have a middle-aged crew, me making something that I think is sick for 20-year-olds doesn't serve the house.
Yeah.
No,
It's actually self-serving.
100%.
So
There's a lot of that now that is hard to wade through.
Bro, I fight that every single time I sit down at my computer.
It's not even just design though. It's like video editing styles. Like we were just talking about this. The way that we edit our sermon clips from Sundays, we're doing it at a high level, but does that come across to the audience as too much? Should we be spending less time on the editing, making it look, in our eyes, not as good, because it would reach the target better?
Right.
And it's thinking that way that is so hard, because you look at the video that I just edited yesterday and you're like, that's pretty solid. But if I were to go less crazy on the captions and just make it Helvetica, the same font size across the board, the people that take it in, it might be different.
Yeah, because it's how do we serve the whole and not the,
Yeah.
because
I know I'm asking the wrong question when I lead with, do I think this is cool?
100%. And it's hard.
It's
hard as
so
it's
hard.
hard as somebody that's like sitting here making it, because like I want to make something cool.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
And so it's just like we were talking about a shirt design that I'd done. I'll just leave it at that. Like for me, I'm like, let's go. This
Sick.
looks like an old hardcore band
You
shirt.
sent it to me. I thought it was fire.
I'm like, this is kind of, I think that's a great place, right? I love it. Now, could it be what they wanted? Maybe, maybe not. So it's like, and that's the thing. Well, that's my job as the creative, to ask the questions to figure out where we're headed.
Yeah.
Who are your kids? Who are the kids? Like, if I'm doing stuff for students, who are your kids? What are they into? What are they like?
Especially as a freelance.
What are they wearing?
Yep.
That kind of thing. I'm like, okay, so then how do I take the gospel and put all that stuff so the gospel is the center and all the other stuff is around it? Because I want people to ask these kids, dude, what's that shirt? Oh, that's my youth group.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're what? I'm like, yeah. It's my youth group.
Well, it's the same principle. I'm preaching at a youth conference this weekend, and I remember being on church staffs that would bring in guest speakers, and I would always be curious why we would cater everything to the guest speakers. What are they talking about? I don't know. We're just going to let them go. When in reality now, I'm like, my job as a guest speaker is to serve the ministry. I tell whoever's hosting me, they're like, what do you need? I always say, I work for you for the next couple of days. Right. So if this is the culture of your church, how can I serve that? Does the way in which I say this, does it resonate, or is it distractive to what you're trying? So I think the same thing is in creative areas. It's, hey, if I'm not serving you, then I need to have enough humility
for sure
to dial it back.
It's like I'm a character coach for a basketball team in town. And so, like, at the beginning of the year, I'm like, hey, what are your kids going through?
Yep.
Yep. And, or during the season, like, hey, because I go to all their games, so, like, I see stuff, and I'm like, what are they dealing with? What are you talking to them about?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, then cool, we can Talk
We can
about
work with
that,
that.
you know?
Yep.
But you're dead on, man. It's like, what are these? I'm an extension of your ministry when you hire me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm part of it. You know, I might not physically be there, or I might not go to that church, but like, that's like, if you hire me to do something, like, that has to be my goal.
Yep.
Like, how do what's the culture? You know?
Yeah.
And I do think that is something that creativity is doing really, really well within the church, is setting a tone and helping build culture. Again, I think that, because if we don't carry the culture, right, like as the people that are helping shape it, like we have to be the ones that are helping carry that while helping shape it at the same
Yep.
time. Then like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like if I'm not pointing people to Jesus or making people ask questions about Jesus based off of a design, you know, so it's like, but at the same time, I also want to make sure it's clear,
Yep.
so they don't have to be confused, because we're not trying to go for confusion. We're trying to make sure that clarity is the end goal.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Be clear.
It's good.
I like it. Dude, I feel like we could have this conversation for 2 more hours.
Yeah.
But you got to go make an impact.
Gotta go to work.
I gotta go sell some shoes, man. I gotta go sell some shoes.
Well, really quickly before we shut this thing down, where can people find you, reach you, contact you?
So all of my social handles are just Sean Needs Grace, ShawnNeeds Grace. And then my website is just ShawnNeedsGraceDesigns.com.
Love it.
So we're still getting that one rocking and rolling.
Come on.
It's there. It needs some fine tuning. Dude, that's so hard. It's so hard to sit down and like, oh, let me put my stuff. You know, I have so many things that are just like chilling
Yep.
that nobody's seen.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. And if you're local to Bowling Green, come see me at Hibbett.
There we go.
I'll sell you some shoes and talk about Jesus and be mean to your kid if you need me to. So, you know.
Well, dude, thanks for coming
You want to
on.
ask him the
I appreciate you
all-in
guys.
question?
So what?
The all-in?
Yeah. This is the All In podcast, and one of the things we like to ask guests is, what's an area of your life that you're trying to live more all in? How would you answer that?
Being aware of the presence of the Holy Spirit in my life. As someone who grew up as a Baptist kid, and then popping into an Assemblies of God and being like, oh man, didn't talk a ton about the Holy Spirit, I guess you'd say, as a kid. And so just being aware of his presence.
Yeah.
And that's been like one of my prayers for the last little while.
That's very good, man.
And so, yeah, because that's the power.
Yeah. He's always moving, whether
Yep.
or not you see it or not.
Exactly.
It's up to you.
We always like, oh, I just want more. No, we got all of him.
Yep.
We just have to be aware that he's there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's great. Well, we can't wait to have you back on the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
We're going to have to run it back.
It's
Run it
fun.
back for
It's
sure.
fun. Let's go.
Well, thanks for listening to this episode of the All In podcast. If it was helpful, man, do us a favor, like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, we love you, and we can't wait to see you in the next episode.